honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
I'm Tavis, Smiley. I'm delighted to have you in with us today. For those who may have just tuned in, I said this at the top of both hours. I'm going to say it again at the top of this hour. I want to welcome a number of new stations carrying this program across the country. I am humbled to know that there are people in cities across the nation that are getting a chance to hear the Tavis Smiley Show. So let me welcome once again WURD Radio, 900 AM, 96.1 FM in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. WVON, 1690 AM in Chicago, comes online this month, and I'm certainly happy to know that WVON listeners in the city of Chicago, the Windy City, will hear this program as well. And we also welcome the We Believe radio network of stations in Mississippi, a whole bunch of stations listening through the network We Believe Radio in Mississippi, and there are many more that I don't have time to get to today, but I just want to shout those out. But today is a big day around here as we expand our syndication. It is, of course, the anniversary of 9/11, 22 years since 9/11, and so it's a day of reflection, but also a day here of celebration as we expand our programming across the nation. So thank you to WURD, WVON, We Believe Radio, and others who are coming online to carry the Tavis Smiley Show. We are humbled by your carriage and by your coverage. Thank you. In this hour, two conversations. On the B side of this hour, a conversation with John Diggs about the transformative power of what's called mind mapping. Mind mapping, which I'm told can unlock creativity and enhance productivity. He's a former pro football player and extremely successful mortgage executive, and so we'll talk to John Diggs on the backside of this hour. But we commenced this hour talking about how we can make the process of contracting, government contracting, private sector contracting. How can we make contracting more fair, more equitable, to be exacting or more exacting about it? How can we get more folk who look like you and me in the contracting pipeline? I am pleased to welcome the CEO and founder of Rambo House, Dion Rambo. Pleased to have him on this program. He joins us live in studio right now. Dion Rambo, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you, and good to see your handsome visage in the place. His name is Dion Rambo, and those of us who know him and love him just call him Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah. What is that about? I mean, there are all these movies, of course.
When I was starting my company, Tavis, I had to choose a name, and I was like, dang it, but I'm black. And then I thought of all these little creative names, and then I thought, what's going to be something that everybody can remember? And then so I decided to be the Black Rambo.
There you go.
And that's the one that everybody remembers, so it's worked.
So Rambo House is his company, and he does amazing work helping people of color, black people in particular, get into the contracting pipeline. If you're in the Southern California area, there's a huge event this weekend. For those listening on my home station in L.A., KBLA Talk 1580, they know about the event this Saturday at the Marriott at LAX.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later in this hour. So there's a big event this Saturday. But Dion and I are well, I guess we're announcing now. We've been working on it. we're actually taking this around the country, and so we're going to be moving around the country with these seminars that we do, helping black folk get into the contracting pipeline.
Huge.
No matter where you are, we can help you get into the contracting pipeline if you are a small business owner or want to be a small business owner. You'd be amazed at the number of things that these primes need, that government entities need somebody to deliver for them. So there are all kinds of ways to not just do good, but do well by getting in the space of contracting. And so we're going to talk for the next 30 minutes or just about 30 minutes about how to get you in the contracting pipeline. Dion Rambo, again, is the CEO and founder of Rambo House, joins us live in studio. When we come forward, all that you need to know, if you're in the Southern California area, about the event this weekend and across the nation, more about how you can tap into us as we move around the country, helping you get into the contracting pipeline. In a moment, you'll be listening to Dion Rambo on Tavis Smiley.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Escalade IQ. This the intro to the all-electric Cadillac, perfected like Zoom. And on a full charge, you get 450 miles without the stop. Haiku. This is what I do. Daddy fat intellect since '92. Linked all the way back, panoramic roof. Come with 24-inch rim standard. Ooh, why? Shawty don't kill him. Cadillac diamond in the back, cold chillin'. And when I'm on attack, on the track is no ceiling. Sky's the limit. You hear me? You hear me? Straight drop, no parachutes. Lay lines like a longitude and latitude. Dearly, beloved, clearly we're hustling, bustin', truckin'. Cadillac, Cadillac.
For more on the Escalade IQ, visit Cadillac.com.
Available late 2024. GM estimate 450-mile range. On a full charge based on development testing and/or analytical projection. Consistent with SCHA 1634 revision 2017 MCT. Range subject to change prior to production. Annual rates may vary based on service factors, including ambience temperature, terrain, battery age, and condition loading, and how you use and maintain your vehicle.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
All right, you're listening to Tavis Smiley, and I'm glad about it. Our guest in this half hour is Dion Rambo, founder of Rambo House. We call him Rambo, and I'm going to now let him share some information with you that I think will be useful and empowering for you. But let me start with a broad question of the contracting space and what the opportunities are writ large for black folk if they can get in this space, if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, one of the things that's important about my background is when I got into contracting, and the truth is, Tavis, as you know me, contracts isn't my priority. It's where I made majority of my money. Then I started kind of, building my own other companies. Because what I decided to do was, but when I did Rambo House, when I started it, I built Rambo House as to just, no one would hire me, right? You know the story, went through the homeless and stuff. So no one would hire me. I just built something, but I realized the only way I can build wealth had to be in some type of contracting form. It couldn't be through hustle. So anything outside of contracts became like an effort. If I had even if I had a shoe store, I should have contracts attached to it. Amazon, that's when Amazon became the biggest, when AWS got the contracts. When Elon got big, it's when he got the contracts, with SpaceX, etc. I just saw that but no one in our community was talking about that. And so that's what I did. I shifted Rambo House, taking care of the mayors, taking care of the political people. You don't have the money? No problem. Just teach me it. I'll do it. Oh, you don't got this money? Still kind of how I am today with you, Tab. Just how we are, just in the community. And it actually built up. Then I was getting the contracts, starting the companies I wanted to do. That was hard. That was the discipline of waiting to do what I feel like I'm called to do, getting the contracts first. And so once I saw how much money was in contracting, and I saw how much was left on the table with black people from contracting, I just decided to come up with a way to teach it where it was easy.
I have never, this show, again, is heard across the country, but we're flagshipped in L.A., and in Los Angeles County or the state of California. I'm always invited to meetings, as are you, for all kinds of things. And it's always amazed me and frankly sort of depressed me that I don't care what government entity you are talking about. And I mean this not just in LA or California, but across the country. Every one of these government agencies, it seems, is always coming up short when it comes to contracts being given to people of color. And to women. Women oftentimes do better. And as we'll talk about as we move through this hour, with the attack on affirmative action, it's just a matter of time. That affirmative action case that the Supreme Court, kicked to the curb was in education. Trust me, it's coming to contracting. It's coming to hiring. It's coming to employment. All across the country. So this is the moment to get your act together. If you want to get into contracting, because you can't rely on the Supreme Court to leave a path open for you to do what you need to do. But my point is that I've always been just despondent when I look at these numbers, how they always fall short when it comes to finding black people to give these contracts to. What's that about?
So when I first started, it was called, I forgot what it was called good faith effort. Good faith effort was like the card that any contractor or prime contractor, meaning if you're a large company, not even just, what happens, Tavis, is the state, the state, the county, the city, they give usually contracts to the prime. Then the prime is the one who kind of deals with us on a day-to-day, right? The prime has the insurance to cover you, etc. So the prime is who breaks it up. What the primes were doing was years and years is they were using a good faith card. Well,
which is bogus.
We tried. You know how that is.
Exactly,
well, they changed that now. Like we have really good mayors in leadership and stuff like that, knowing about that card that they used to play. And now it's really just about getting the small businesses ready. What I've learned, though, the reason I think our events and the things that we do and people know the Rambo from a contracting is because we make it, we do the outreach. I don't get money from the city, the counties, etc. Even when we came together, we said, how do we do this? How do we save them and just put our heads together to keep going? That's kind of what your tour is going to be. Just how do we work together to save as many people as we can? It's information. It's not only information, but we learn differently. Our education system was different. I understood that when I got my first, what's called an RFP. I don't understand how to read this, and no one in my family did. And I didn't understand how to put together budgeting, and nobody in my family did. Until I understood how to make it much simpler. When I started winning, losing, talking to the key people in office. What are you looking for? What are you really? Is networking really important? If it's not really important, why do you do it? I started understanding the rules of the game, and then that's what built the contracting world that we have now. That's what's been making it go so quick.
What are the barriers? We're talking broadly here in this hour. And we'll get some specifics in. But what do you find? What have you found are the barriers? Most principally for black folk getting into the contracting space.
Fear of losing. Fear of being exposed that they don't know what they're doing. That's probably the biggest. Because I have.
Well, if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be in it anyway.
Well, not knowing how to bid.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Not knowing how to bid.
I got you.
So they know how to do plumbing,
Right.
right? But they've been working for a plumber,
Right.
and now they want to do it themselves. They've been doing it for 20 years. You can't tell them anything about pipes. But now when it's time to get contracting, no one's really taught me because I've been reading how to do pipes, right? I don't know how to read RFPs, RFQs.
Sure.
So it's really that. That's what I'm noticing because when I have one-on-ones and we just kind of talking with Rambo, that's really what is Rambo. Like they don't even know, Tavis, that they can owe the IRS. You can owe tax money. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be filed, but you can owe. They didn't know that. I remember I did an interview with the finance people over the LA or California, something like that, and I asked them. They brought that up on camera, and I said, "Wait, you could owe?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "How come other people don't know this? How come the brown community don't know this?" And they said, "Well, we know. There's no outreach money." And I said, so they can owe? I said, that's huge. I stopped the camera. That's huge. So things like that, I think, is just a lack of understanding and the fear of failing.
Yeah. Why is it that, as I said earlier, that there are all these different lanes, as it seems to me, for various black-owned small businesses to get into the pipeline, but we seem to not have businesses who do that work, whatever that is. Am I making sense? So the contract says we need companies that do X, Y, or Z. And there just aren't black people who do X, Y, or Z. It seems to me that's a huge opportunity to start doing X, Y, or Z so that you can be the minority, the person of color, to get those contracts.
Oh, my God. There's so many tricks around that.
Right.
There's so many tricks around that. There's a trick where, and trick is a good way, but there's so many tricks around it. For example, you're the company owner. You shouldn't be doing the work anyway.
Right.
So sub it out.
Right. Sub it out.
Like when you come to mine, I'm like, don't do the work. Don't even talk to me as a worker. Go get a job. Talk to me as an owner. Sub it out. You know, if you're a plumber and they need plumbing on the big metro lines or the Olympics, and no, sub it out because they need minorities, right? So they'll give it to you for that. And that's one big thing that I think people don't understand. The second big thing is, this is gonna sound really, really, really bad, but can I be honest on your show? Okay, I'll be honest on your show.
Be honest.
I'll be honest. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. Win the contract. Go find what you need to do to pull it off. When you know this contract is due, go find the people who can do the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know it's not you. You're an owner.
Right.
When people bid for the stadiums and the build, they don't grab a hammer and build, right? They're running a company. We need to start thinking like running a company and stop thinking like slaves. That's a really, really big one. We got to get out of, if I can't do it, Rambo, stop thinking like that.
Yeah.
If you have a company that's in that space, or start others that are in that space, start that and then get you some subcontractors to work under you just like the big boys. And just tell the subcontractors, yo, when I get this contract, this is what you have to. Oh, my God, Rambo, I've been doing that and I've been doing this for, all right, we got this. Okay, I'm submitting this information as you guys as my sub. County and stuff, love it. Partnerships.
I assume, and that's a powerful point you've just made about the fact that you don't actually have to do the work.
Right.
You back to your early point. People are afraid of losing the bid. They're not just afraid of losing the bid. They're afraid because you can bid on something, but I don't know how to do plumbing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could own a company. I take your point, and I can sub out this contract for them to actually do the work.
Right.
But to your point, we don't think that way. We don't think
that
being
way.
owners. We think we can't do this.
Yes.
We can't get the contract because I'm not a plumber. Well, Negro,
Yes.
you ain't got to be a plumber.
Yes. Yes.
You ain't got to be a brick mason.
Yes.
You don't have to.
Yes.
You don't have to be any of these things.
Yes.
You just have to own a company.
Yes.
That subs this
Right.
out to have
Right.
somebody else do the work. And to your point, you say you got to be honest, but that's why I love black people. We just tell you what the real deal is.
You got to say that first. That's the thing you got to say.
They don't know. They don't know.
Yes.
They gave the contract to your company.
Yes.
So long as the work is done.
Yes.
And it's done right.
And your reputation,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's the thing that the primes told me. The companies, they all told me, to your point, they said, Rambo, we just want the work done. They might not know Tyrone or Jose or anybody. They just want the work done. And so that's why you built a reputation with them to actually fulfill it and get the job done.
Yeah. I am curious as to what you, again, this weekend, if you're in Los Angeles at the Marriott Hotel, you can be a part of our conversation. Contracts, as Dion says.
Yes.
Tell you more about the event this weekend before we wrap this conversation. But in this city of Los Angeles and across the country, I'm wondering how it is that we inspire more African Americans to consider owning companies and getting in contracting pipelines as a way to make money from it.
Man, you have to. Honestly, I really don't know what they can do other than contracting right now. Like, even when I'm talking, I can speak. If you could tell me something other than illegal that you can do to make money consistently.
Other than illegal or winning a lottery ticket.
Other than which is too hard thing, but illegal stuff is easy.
Yeah.
But the lottery ticket part.
Yeah.
And even down to like having a shop. You can't even have a store right now because real estate. You can't even have, and there's no foot traffic, right? And then we're not taught a lot about e-commerce, digital, AI is coming.
Right.
There's so many other fears coming that we're not even ready for. But contracting is wealth.
Yes.
And I tell people, don't look at contracting like that's your new company. Don't do that. Look at contracting like it's a department in your company, right? Don't look at contracting like that's your new direction. No, look at it like that's a new potential client, right? And so every week, submit for responses to contracts because even if you lose submitting, they have to talk to you and tell you why. That's now you know who I am, Lisa. I lost. Yeah, you lost, Rambo. Here's why. I lost a contract once because they said I mentioned too local and they needed it further. I was like, but you know I do further. But you didn't say it. I said, got it. So now they know about me, right? So somebody told me that. Mess up, Rambo. And I was like, I'm Rambo. I don't want to mess up. People might know. Mess up. I started messing up. And then you know what, too? A lot of people aren't bidding. A lot of people aren't bidding. So if you're really trying to get through, this is the time to actually do it. If you're really trying to build your company, I wouldn't even build a company right now, Tavis, honestly, right now, without having contracting as one of the key principles.
So what are you teaching people about how to establish that company, that business that can then bid on the contracts and then you win the contract, as we said earlier, and you sub out the work. So you ain't got to do the work. You just won the contract.
Yes.
But you have to have something obviously established.
Yep.
Some companies got to be established to bid on the stuff. What are you teaching people about how to establish that primary company, that primary entity?
Got it. So two things. Number one, look at a contract department. We call it a contract department. Just made that up, but that's a really good point. A contract department aren't people you need to employ all the time. They're just people you need to bring on because you're trying to win a certain contract.
Got it.
So even in the contract response, they don't have to work for you. You don't have to have payroll with them or anything. They just want to know, Rambo, who's going to get the work done. I always tell people they don't even see you. They're looking this way, and you're behind them way over there, and all they're looking at is paperwork. And so when you say this is my team who's going to be fulfilling this, Jose owns such and such drywall, such and such owns transportation. I'm going to lead as the administrative over. That's what they want. So this is how you're going to do it? Okay, show us the money that we can afford you. Yep, this is how you can afford this. Okay, and are you truly local? Where if we give you this, you got to pay local. Yeah, we're local. Yep, it's on here. All right. That's how it works. That's it. They don't see you. They see paper. But I think with us, because we're blacks, because we're entertainers, because we're used to our exciting ways and people seeing us as Facebook is different. Contracting isn't about that. It's about what's on paper. And then once you get it, do the job.
Yeah, I can say, now I'm glad you went there because you have to do the job.
You got to do the job.
You can't. You can start your company and bid and win the contract and sub it out and make a whole bunch of money and do that over, as we say, rinse and repeat, right? You rinse and repeat. You can keep doing this. I hear your point now about why more of us need to get into the contracting space.
Yes.
It's not as difficult as you think it is.
Right.
It's not as intimidating as you think it is.
Right.
It doesn't require you to have to do the work. I say for the fifth time.
Yes.
So it's a huge opportunity for those of us who, again, want to find other revenue streams.
And we didn't have people like you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a realist. Like, I know you're humble, but we didn't have people like you saying, I'm going to make a stage for this outreach to happen. Like, there was just me beating the pavement whenever I could because I have my other companies. When I met you, Tavis, remember I said, finally. Remember I said, finally, somebody who could say, let's talk about this. Let's find out where these things are. Let's talk about this. So, yeah, we needed that person in the room.
We were saying, though, but you have to do the work. You cannot get in this space and then not do the work because that ends up,
we'll
that makes us all look bad.
Yeah, but it's like hiring anybody from Yelp. Yeah. It's like hiring anybody from Google. Like, you're going to have some who's going to do it, and then the other one's going to come through and do it until the ones are doing it right. That's in anything. You just stay on a team. You got to play well. So I don't think we have to teach them per se to do the work. They know you to keep that contract. Listen, if they get over on, having $200,000 and it messes them up for the millions they could be winning, that's up to them. They're idiots on that. But if in terms of like you giving them the opportunity, them being in a place to win the opportunity, that's our goal.
As I said earlier, my time at Dion Rambo is up. As I said earlier, we're going to be touring this across the country, so just stay tuned for more details about when we kick that off, taking this contracting
yes.
Notion to black folk all across the nation. But if you're in L.A. this weekend in 45 seconds, Dion, tell them where to come and what we're going to do this weekend.
Biggest contract. First of all, me and Tavis coming together. Just go to KBLA1580.com. It's free. Caltrans is sponsoring it, which is rare. I've never even met Caltrans, so I'm happy that Caltrans and KBLA kind of partnered on this. I'm excited to see what they have going on with the money coming, the infrastructure money coming, the zero emissions money coming, the Olympics coming into LA, mayor's coming. I mean, this is going to be the biggest one yet, and I'm excited to do it.
It's this Saturday, if you're in Southern California, at 10 a.m. at the Marriott at LAX. Mayor Karen Bass, as Dion just mentioned, will be speaking. I, of course, will be there. Rambo, of course, will be there. But will you be there? This is an opportunity for you to get into the contracting space. And now you've heard how not so difficult it is to do this. You might want to just come check it out this Saturday. Space is limited, and I know the number is already. Don't even say it on the air.
Okay.
The number is ridiculous of RSVPs already. So there are a few seats left. Go to KBLA1580.com if you're in LA to be a part of this weekend. And if you're not in LA, don't worry. We're coming to you in the not too distant future. Rambo,
you're recording it, right? Aren't you going to record it?
Absolutely.
Can they watch it on KBLA maybe after?
Maybe so. But I'll see you Saturday.
See me Saturday.
Good to have you on.
Let's do it. Thanks.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found BenefitsCheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. BenefitsCheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Monday. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Family members of loved ones of the thousands killed on 9/11 are gathering this morning at the World Trade Center Memorial in Manhattan. During the ceremony, now in its 22nd year, names of the nearly 3,000 victims are being read aloud along with tolling of the bells and moments of silence. Vice President Kamala Harris is in attendance. The National Weather Service is advising beachgoers along the North Carolina coastline to be aware of strong ocean swells this week, with Hurricane Lee now being a Category 3 storm. Although the storm is some 400 miles away, the 120-mile-per-hour winds are expected to result in dangerous rip currents and beach erosion. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
In Monrovia, you've got an accident working on that 210 westbound drive right at Myrtle Avenue. Everything's moved off to the right shoulder. Sepulveda Pass, still pretty busy with a wreck on the 405 South at Getty Center Drive. That is taking out your carpool lane, and traffic's jammed from Burbank Boulevard. In South LA, still slowing on that 110 northbound drive, Century Boulevard to the 10.
Summer days getting shorter and business to-do lists getting longer? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job and get hiring today by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A surprising first week of the season for both of LA's NFL teams. The Chargers losing home to Miami. The Rams went up to Seattle and put up 30 points on their scoreboard. They also shut out Seattle in the second half to win by 17. The Chargers lose to Miami by 2. They gave up 36 points and 538 yards in total offense. Going to be a long week for the Chargers defense. USC moved up to 5th in this week's AP Top 25 college football rankings. Colorado moved up 4 spots to number 18. The top 4, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Texas. The Dodgers, 32 games over 500, reduced their magic number to 6 to win the NL West title. The Dodgers are back home tonight to start a 3-game series against San Diego. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
Have you ever wondered how to unlock the full potential of your mind and organize your thoughts with precision? Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the complexity of your ideas, tasks, or projects? Well, meet John Diggs, the mind mapping master. John's expertise in mind mapping is an ancient yet powerful system of thought, and it could be the key to unleashing your creativity, enhancing memory, and skyrocketing your productivity. But his story is not just about mind mapping. In fact, it's about transformation and resilience. John was a former pro football player, and a successful mortgage executive, and he's faced career setbacks that could have defined him. Instead, he's carved out a niche, built a business, and now dedicates himself to helping others live their best lives through this notion of mind mapping. And I am pleased to welcome John Diggs to this program. John, how are you today, sir?
I'm very well, Tavis. Thanks for having me, man. This is an honor. I've been following you since the early 90s, brother. It's such an awesome. Thank you so much for the voice and who you are, man. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate those kind words, and I'm delighted just as much to have you on this program to untap this notion of mind mapping. I want to make the most of the time that we have.
Yes.
When we say mind mapping, what are we talking about here, sir?
We're talking about a visual information management tool, essentially. Mm-hmm. That people, when they have to consider or think about anything, from problem solving, decision making, goal setting, dealing with issues in their past, anything they have to process mentally, mind mapping is the most powerful way that I've ever found, because it allows you to write it out or map it out on a piece of paper for you to get a 10,000-foot view of whatever it is you're contemplating, to give you greater perspective, to empower you to make better informed decisions and come up with solutions to problems better. It's just a really transformational tool that everyone can use, and it's free.
Help me understand how mind mapping actually works. And by works, I mean at a practical level. Tell me how it's applicable to the conundrums that we face in our lives.
Yeah, well, for instance, if you have dealing with a problem, whatever that may be, you can grab a piece of paper and put it like in a landscape form, and in the middle of that piece of paper, just get the title of whatever that problem is. Draw a circle around that problem. Then from there, you can create, I would say, 6 different other topics around that main topic: who, what, when, where, why, how, and so on and so forth. Then as you're looking at that problem, you can go to that first topic and who's involved with this problem, who should be involved with this problem, who shouldn't be involved with this problem. Then after you brainstorm all of the intricacies of who's involved, then you can move to the next topic, which is when. When did it occur? When should it occur? Then so on and so forth. Go to why, go to where, go to how. And now as you go through brainstorming each one of this who, what, where, why of that central problem, and now you're looking at all of those issues on a page in one snapshot, now you have a greater empowerment to figure out what's the best solution to that problem. Yeah. What's my best next steps to resolve the problem? And it's been life-changing in that a lot of people that I teach and coach, that in this process, as they go through this mind mapping of a problem, it also helps diffuse the emotional impact of that problem, where it takes it out of the first person, puts it kind of like in a third person. Yeah. So now they're kind of looking at it over there without emotion, to make sure they're making the best informed decision about what's their next plan of action to resolve the problem.
No, I can see
that. Make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. I see the value in that. So often, as you well know, you teach this stuff, you coach people. So often we have difficulty taking the emotion out of whatever decision it is we have to make, and mind mapping is hugely beneficial in that regard, just taking the emotion out of it. So I get that. Let me back up for a second. I could have started here and asked this question, but let me ask it now. How did you get introduced to this notion of mind mapping, this thought process?
Oh, yeah. Well, I built a pretty successful mortgage company in Woodland Hills in Los Angeles area.
Right.
And, living great in the 2000 areas. Then I lost everything, literally everything in the mortgage meltdown recession. Lost my family, lost my home, lost my car, lost everything, was forced to move back to my mom's. And I moved back to my mom essentially at threshold, rock bottom, essentially. And all I had was a bike and a big-ass box full of books and stuff that I've accumulated over the years of Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Landmark Education, NLP stuff, just everything that I've used to build my life. I knew I had to revisit that box to, reset my life. And there was a book in there called Mind Mapping book that I never really read, but it just resonated with me as I started going through the box, and came up with the idea to mind map everything that I had in that big ass box. And in that process, it caused information that I was reading to resonate in a deeper level than I ever have before. Because instead of just note-taking and underlining books, I was really going through books looking for keywords and phrases to really understand what was being shared in the various books and CDs and DVDs I had in that box. And it empowered me in such a way, Tavis, that transformed my life, where I literally went from homeless and 8 months later got a 6-figure gig and transformed my life. And I've been mind mapping ever since to build my life. And this is kind of pattern the TEDx talk that I just recently did in January in Gainesville, where I shared this story with a lot of people to show how, in addition to having that information resonate with me, it really got clear the importance of mind mapping who I am, what is my life about, what is most important in my life, what are my core values, what are my beliefs, how I want to live my life. and I call it my I am mind map, which is what I teach a lot of my clients and students now, is we need to start with getting really clear on who you are and what you want to do in this thing called life that we're experiencing. So you at least have a compass, a guidance, a master playbook, a constitution, if you will, on what your life is about, which will empower people to make better decisions, set up boundaries when necessary, eliminate those people who aren't in alignment with their mind map and who they want to be and the energy they want to vibrate to where they're trying to go with their life. So it really has transformed my life and built another business for myself. I own one of the top mortgage software development companies in the country, and I essentially got to a phase where that's kind of ran its course. Now I'm just passionate and purposeful about really sharing the power of mind mapping with the world, specifically the African American community.
For those who've been listening to this program all 3 hours today, we're in the last half hour, John, of a 3-hour program. For those who are listening, I know they already are tickled because they know what I'm about to say. I say it all the time, and I said it earlier in today's program, that I never know how the dots are going to connect over this 3-hour journey every single day. What I do know is I leave this studio smarter than I walk in every day. Here you come in the last half hour of this program, essentially tracking what we were discussing in our second hour. We were talking with a great philosopher today named Lewis Gordon in hour 2 about life and what is life about and who am I and what is my purpose and is it worth it all. We spent an entire hour today talking about, here you come now in the last half hour of the third hour. You weren't even around then, mirroring that same conversation about what life is about. And John's answer to that is that you can figure that out through this notion of mind mapping. Just love how these dots connect. More about mind mapping with John Diggs when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Seeking the truth. Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
I'm Scott Strauss. On 9/11, I was a New York City police officer assigned to finding survivors buried under the rubble of the World Trade Center. Those were difficult days, but what kept me going was seeing the way Americans joined together in unity. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat or a Republican or anything else. For 9/11 this year, now a National Day of Service, let's rekindle that spirit of unity by doing good deeds. Visit 911day.org to learn more.
Ugh, I don't have time for a cold.
Honey.
Honey?
You need DayQuil Severe Honey flavor.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, Honeylicious. Power through your day, medicine.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump. Again.
at America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Ready to re-examine your assumptions and expand your inventory of ideas? More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
There is another theme, John Diggs, that is run through this program today. I mentioned moments ago that the notion of what is life about and is it worth it and who am I really and why am I here? That notion is run through today's program, but we just had a conversation with a guy named Dion Rambo, and Dion's one of the foremost experts in the country teaching people how to get their small business into the contracting pipeline for government contracts, private sector contracts. His mission in life is to help black folk in particular get into the contracting pipeline. Your mission in life is to help black folk with mind mapping, given that you are the mind mapping master. But the other theme I wanted to tee up right quick that runs through today's program is that Dion Rambo, not unlike John Diggs, at one point found themselves homeless. In John's case, back at his mother's house, had lost every single thing. So we have two guests back to back who are doing remarkably well these days in their various businesses, but both at one point had a huge setback. I offer that setup to ask this simple question. What have you learned, John Diggs, about what it means and the process of bouncing your way back? Clearly, mind mapping helped you, but just talk to me broadly speaking about what it means. Offer a word of encouragement, if you will, to those who are in that process right now of fighting their way back.
Well, yeah, great question. When I was down rock bottom and questioning things, and I got blessed with the understanding after that process of mind mapping everything in that box, was to understand that every thought leader, pretty much all of the most popular people that we think of, from Buddha to Confucius to Gandhi to Mr. King, Dr. King, and everyone, they really always just trying to let us know the importance of just loving the experience of life. Really just love it. You know, love every second we have of it, you know, and I've learned that when we truly love it, life always finds ways to love us back. Will give us that gift of just loving, whether it's just, not just loving it when it's great, but also loving when it's not so great, because you still have life. Love it. And one of the things that I've learned, the best way to love it is to really get clear on who you are and what loving life means to you. It means everything different to everyone else. But you really get clear on what it is about your life that you want to love, you know, and really embrace it and understand as humans, you know, we're blessed with the power of decision. You know, unlike other living things on earth, you know, God blessed humans with the power to decide how we want to live our life. And we need to embrace that decision, you know, embrace that power, that divine power that we have. And really, hey, I can make a decision right this second, right now, on loving my life despite the current circumstances, despite what's going on, the apparent challenges. And to develop a process to start rebuilding my life, which is what I did, and by way of mind mapping. It just really helped me get clear on what was most important to me in regards to health, wealth, success, and happiness. And I really mind mapped that out seriously and been doing it every day, and look at it still to the day after 15 years and what my life is about and what it means to me to love life. And I find, again, that life has been loving me back as I stay in alignment with what I choose to be and who I choose to be, do, and have to love my life.
Our remaining moments with the mind mapping master, John Diggs, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
What's up, party people? It's your favorite MC's favorite rapper, MC Light here. And we're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. And we're going to take it way back to where it started. It was only fitting that hip-hop began with teenagers at a back-to-school jam in the rec room of a South Bronx apartment complex by an 18-year-old brother. By the way, I'm also sure he had a Cadillac parked outside. He noticed the energy on the dance floor when he switched between two turntables, extending the beats, repeating the breaks, and never losing the rhythms. And that was the birth of hip-hop. And from that moment, it took off.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
What make you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Who do you trust to get at the truth?
Tavis, Smiley.
That's who. The conversation continues right now.
So the mind mapping process that John Diggs has laid out for us in these moments can improve creativity. It can enhance memory retention and recall. It can boost productivity, facilitate collaboration, reduce stress and anxiety. All that sort of come through to me in this conversation with John about the benefits of mind mapping. My question, having said that, though, is who can benefit from mind mapping? Put another way, who is mind mapping for? Young people, students, professionals, artists? You tell me, who's it for?
Yeah, the true power in mind mapping is that it's so flexible that it is for anyone who has to think. K1 to CEOs, anybody who has to think about something or consider something or make a decision, mind mapping is for. And if you Google mind mapping, what you're going to find for your audience is most mind mapping practices up until this point around the world are primarily used for project management, brainstorming, things of that nature in Fortune 500 companies and Ivy League schools. I've been, all of my research is saying I'm the only one in the world right now that's really gearing it, promoting it, teaching it, and training it as a personal development tool to really help people see how to use it in their daily lives and daily practice. And I wanted to create that distinction. So mind mapping is one thing, but what I'm developing is called mapineering, engineering beautiful mind maps to love life more. And I created an online community just to help people who are interested in learning how to use this powerful tool on a daily, to show them how to integrate it on daily stuff, to be grateful for certain things every day, to ask for help, to know how to communicate in a mind map form. That's why I created mapineerville.com for those people who are really interested in learning how to use it on a daily, practical, as a personal tool for effectiveness.
It's called mapineerville.com. That's MAPPINEERVILLE. Kind of like a Coupe de Ville, but not really. Mapineerville is the vehicle that will get you there. Mapineerville. He mentioned earlier, and I want to echo, he has a powerful TED Talk about this notion of mapineering, this notion of mind mapping. His name is, again, John Diggs. Check out his TED Talk. And, of course, his website, johndiggs.com. Let me offer this in the 90 seconds I have left as I exit question. I wanted to have you on because, no surprise here, I think there is a particular value in the notion of mind mapping to help black people solve their problems. Say a word about that in 90 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Mental health, in our community has been avoided and untapped for so many years. My dad says, he wish he had some kind of mental health assistance going through his marriage and just life and stuff. And mind mapping, again, is such a powerful tool that I'm hopeful that our folks be open to it and start to learn how to embrace it, because I'm sure it will give you some empowerment, enable you to make more informed decisions, to resolve issues clearly, and also probably most importantly, able you to congruently communicate effectively to another person about your desires, about your needs, or at least have a platform for people to be able to communicate and exchange ideas more succinctly, more effectively, and more efficiently. And I'm excited that I'm surprised in one sense, Tavis, that it's not more known in our community to this point, even though it's been around for decades. But I'm excited to be the one, and I think my life journey has put me in a position to be the man to really introduce this to communities all over our country, African American communities. And with that said, any way that I can help you or assist you in sharing this message, or if you find anything that I can do to support anything you do, man, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, Tavis.
You are too kind, brother. You are too kind. I appreciate that. His name is John Diggs. Check out his TED Talk. This conversation hopefully whet your appetite for more about this notion of mind mapping. It is a powerful tool, and to learn more, again, check out the TED Talk by John Diggs. John, all the best to you. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for having me, sir. I appreciate it.
My great honor. That's our program for today. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again, 3 hours. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Vice President Kamala Harris says the attacks on her by GOP presidential candidates are nothing